Hey everyone, welcome to today's live recap for Building Winning Teams, a simple step-by-step guide. And we're here to recap video 4 and to answer all of your questions. Today is literally an Ask Me Anything day. So whether you're stuck on video 1, whether you've made some progress, but you'd like some further input or advice, or you've got questions about the P.E.O.P.L.E Pathway, about building winning teams, about anything to do with your team, about anything human resources related, or of course about your opportunity to join your P.E.O.P.L.E business, which of course is currently open, and we're welcoming new members in as we speak. I'm super excited, in case you can't tell, because this is my favorite time. Your P.E.O.P.L.E business is my favoriteest thing to work on in my business. I love working with our members and just being able to support them in real time. I've just jumped off our monthly Q&A session for March. We have those every month inside the membership, and it was great because one of the members who was able to join us live today, because often members can't join live, and that's totally okay, everything's recorded and in the portal, but someone who was able to join live today was able to just jump straight on. We could have a chat about the challenge or the question that she had, and we were able to workshop a solution around casual employees, because there's been changes to that legislation in the last week. So I'm always pumped when I get to work with the members, and so being able to be open and welcoming new members right now is super exciting for me. We only open the membership a couple of times a year, so if you're interested, now is absolutely your chance, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have about that. But first, let's jump straight into our recap, because that is exactly what we're here for. And today we are recapping video 4 of the Building Winning Teams series. So to take a step back, Building Winning Teams has been a 4-part video series to help you with strategies and tactics you could take and implement straight into your business to help you build your winning team. You will have heard me say this before. You simply can't build a business that's going to deliver you success by however you measure it, and also give you any sense of freedom, without a team, and more specifically, without the right team, without a winning team. A winning team is a team that you love working with every day. It's a team of people who are passionate about not only what they do, but about what your business does. It's a team who are committed to not just showing up and going through the motions, but to really making a difference, to achieving, to driving results. A winning team are what we call an engaged team. Now, engaged isn't a fluffy HR term. It's a real thing. There's lots of data and research about it. It's that extra commitment and effort that an employee makes both on a psychological and a physical level in the workplace. Engaged teams are proven to be at least 17% more productive than their counterparts, and that's a pretty good stat. But even better, that productivity results in profitability increases, bottom line results, increasing by 20%. Now, I'm not sure about you, but if I'm going to have a team of people in my business, and that by having those people engaged, motivated, and by me doing a few things to make that happen, if that's going to give me a 20% profitability increase, I am all in on that. We know in business that having profitability increase relies on lots of different things. So if we're prepared to put in the effort to develop new products or refine our services or be better at what we do, why wouldn't we put the effort into engaging our team so that they can deliver the profitability for us, right? Now, I know that many of you have been in business and you've been frustrated by your teams. And I'm not here talking to you from someone that just works in corporate HR land, not at all. In fact, I don't work in corporate HR land. I work with small to medium-sized businesses, and more than just knowing the theory, I've built my own business and I've helped others build their winning teams. I've been on the journey of having a business that was powered by an idea, powered by my passion to do what I wanted to do, to being powered by the momentum that comes with having a small business, to being powered by some key people as I grew my team, to being powered by me when if I wasn't there, the place would fall apart, to ultimately being powered by a team. And once we move past that stage, once we're not just relying on the team, once we can take a holiday from our business becomes truly people-powered. And it's a journey I've traveled myself. And sometimes it's not smooth sailing. It's not a direct line. It's a little bit of up and down. And I've certainly been there. I've shared with you the story of the time I was trying to take a holiday from the business, which if you've been in small business before, you know is not always an easy feat. And I nearly threw my phone into the beach going for a run along the water because something that could not have possibly gone wrong because I had done all the work to set it up did go wrong. My break was over. I was back fixing the mistakes because I'd built a team of greats, but I hadn't built a winning team. So the information I'm sharing with you throughout the video series is not just theoretically based. It's based on the businesses I've worked with over the last 20 years, and it's based on the experience that I've had in building the teams that I've built. I started building teams when I was a teenager. One of my first jobs, in fact, whilst I was at uni, I did all the retail and hospitality stuff as well. One of my first jobs was a party clown at McDonald's, but don't tell anyone. I started building teams when I was at uni. I could quickly walk into organisations and see where inefficiency was, where disengaged team members were, and how we could make things more productive. Not everyone loved me for that skill set. Not everyone had a job at the end of that process, but I've been great at building teams that really drove business performance to the point where an entire department, including myself, got made redundant during my second year of uni because I turned the whole team around and we were no longer needed. They could halve the number of people on that team because of the work that we did in building the right team. So this is experience that I've had firsthand. So through our video series, we've taken a look at the exact pathway that other savvy business owners are following right now inside your people-powered business to build their winning teams. We've got business owners that are recruiting more high-quality staff for their teams, that are doing all the processes of engagement that I've spoken to you about, that are now able to work a 4-day week and know that their business is totally fine and thriving because their employees have it covered for them. So we've spoken through the video series about this pathway that I call the People Pathway. This is an exact framework that I've created through that experience I just told you about. And People, of course, if you've been watching the videos, is an acronym. Do you remember what it stands for? Let's run through it. Plan, employ, onboard, protect, leverage, and exit. So in video 1, we started right at the beginning. We started with planning. And we really imagined what could happen if we got this pathway working for you. We really imagined what it would look like for your business to not be so reliant on you doing all the things all the time, all the hours, all the plates spinning. What that would mean for you: financial freedom, lifestyle freedom, the ability to never miss the kids' sporting match, the ability to have coffee with the girls whenever you want it to, the ability to book your hair appointments in the middle of a day, the ability to take part in some kind of race or adventure. It's different for everyone. But without the right team, you're tied to your business. So you never get the opportunity to do those things. And in video 1, we took the first step in the pathway, which is planning. We mapped out an exercise I call the clean slate exercise, which showed you how to create your ideal team structure. And then in video 2, we took the next step to employ, because it's all about having the right person in the right role at the right time for your business, not for someone else's, but your business. This is your journey. And we looked at the process of how that might look. We knew about the right timing because we did our planning exercise in video 1. So then it was about the right role. We spoke about position descriptions, what should be in there, and really importantly, KPIs, our key performance indicators, how we measure success of the position. And of course, about finding the right person, because it all starts there. So we spoke about attraction strategies, interview techniques, how to find the right people, how to screen them, create the right shortlist, pick them from interview, do all the background checking. We walked through all of that in video 2. Pretty juicy. There was a lot covered in video 2. And then in video 3, it was time for you to step up as the leader. Whether you're the owner of the business or you manage the team, it's what you do as a leader that creates that engagement that I just spoke about. And we shared 3 strategies that you can use to engage and motivate your team. Now, from an engagement and motivation perspective, there are a trillion different strategies you can use. And inside your people-powered business, we dive deep into all the different options because there's different ones that work for different businesses. But I shared 3 of these with you in video 3, and I encourage you to pick at least one to work on in your business. These are 3 that will work in any industry, any size business. We spoke about the importance of onboarding because you only get one chance to make a great first impression. We spoke about performance reviews, which many of you might have been surprised are an engagement strategy. But quite honestly, The teams I work with, if there's engagement issues, if they've checked out and they're just not as committed as they should be, 99.9% of the time, they will tell me that one of their frustrations, one of the things that bothers them is the lack of formal reviews in place. Remember, our team fundamentally at the base level want three key things from us. They want to know what we expect from them. They want to know how they're going against those expectations, and they want to know what the future holds. And I tell you what, a performance review delivers on all three. So it's gold from that engagement strategy. And of course, we also spoke about regular team meetings, which sounds really basic. I absolutely understand. However, so powerful in creating a forum through which communication regularly happens, and you've got an anchor through which you can keep bringing people back to your organisation's values, to your current goals and objectives, and to keep people sailing on the right path of what you're wanting from them and how they're going against those expectations. Now, I'm really keen to know how you went with some of those strategies and what you've started to use. As I said, I'm here today to answer any questions. So if you're catching this live, or even if you're watching the replay, pop a question in and let me know I'm stuck here, or I don't know what to do there, or what about this idea? Because I'd love to hear from you. And then today we're here to recap, of course, video 4. Now, if you haven't caught up on all of the videos yet, don't stress, you've got plenty of time. You'll have access to all of the videos as long as you're registered for the series right through until the 30th of March. So you do have time to play catch up. Now, in video 4, I gave you the entire People Pathway blueprint. Detailed document that gave you all the steps in the process, because we do have the fundamental steps of plan, employ, onboard, protect, leverage, and exit. But within each of those, there's loads more detail. At every stage, there's various things we need to go through, and some of them are, of course, more juicy than others. So I shared the entire blueprint with you in video 4. I gave you the framework, the pathway you can walk through to create your winning team, to create a team that's going to deliver and drive that business performance for you. So in planning, we talk about organisational structure and design. We also talk about the other elements of planning: planning for exit, planning for succession, planning for cross-training, planning for growth, all the things you're going to need to plan for in your business. Planning, whilst it's step 1 of the People Pathway, really overarches all of the rest of the pathway, because if we fail to plan, we're planning to fail, right? And then, of course, employment is the next step. And isn't there a lot? If you've looked at the blueprint, there's a lot there in employment. It's about position descriptions, attraction strategies, screening techniques, pre-screening, interviews, follow-up assessments, background checks, reference checks, social media checks, skills assessments, psychometric assessments. There's plenty to do when we're employing someone. Then it's about the employment paperwork, making sure we've got contracts and letters of engagement and individual flexibility agreements or annualised wage agreements, depending on your circumstances. And then there's all the payroll setup that goes with that. Once we've got all of that done, that's not where you stop. Whilst finding the right person for the right role at the right time is fundamental and such an important step, if the processes that happen then or after then moving forward are broken or non-existent, it'll be a disaster. I've shared with you the story of the hospitality business that I worked with, who had that exorbitant staff turnover. Whilst we could fix that issue, no problems, and we did, the bigger issue was that the processes they had in place from onboarding through the rest of the pathway were either broken or non-existent. So you can have the most stellar recruitment process and find the best and the brightest for your role, but if you stop there, you're not going to get the team that you deserve. So we go through the onboarding process. What happens in day 1, week 1, month 1, quarter 1, the probation period? When should you be doing reviews? What are you checking up on? And then, of course, we're going through protection of our business. What policies and processes do we need in place to ensure we're protected, to ensure we're compliant with the legislation, to ensure our staff know what's expected of them? Inside our membership, one of the most common areas we get questions about is leave. And it's something, if you don't already have a leave policy, that would be definitely one you'd want to put in place in your protection strategies, because it's a complex space, the leave accruals and what to use when and what's okay and what people can do. So we talk a lot about that inside your people-powered business because it is complex. And so we have a lot of questions about that. And in fact, on today's Q&A session, that, as I mentioned, I just jumped off of, that was absolutely a question that we had around leave accruals and what happens if someone's run out of sick leave and they've got annual leave accrued, what are the rules? So we answer all of those questions inside the membership. So you want to have some protection strategies in place. And then we get to my favorite part of the People Pathway, and that is leverage. This is where you get to use those engagement strategies I shared with you in video 3, but that's only a sample of what you can do here. Leverage is all about taking this team you've created and amping it up, boosting up the energy to get more out of people. This is engagement strategies. This is retention strategies. This is all the things that you can do in leverage to get the best out of every employee and your team as a whole. And of course, the final step of the People Pathway is exit, because the reality is no one is going to be with you forever. This is not their business. So at some point they will exit, and at some point you may have to decide they need to exit. You want to make sure you are doing that correctly. You're compliant, you're protected. And you want to know how to cope if someone unexpectedly exits your business. You have a resignation you didn't anticipate. Not only how to cope from dealing with that person, but how to deal with it from the rest of your team's perspective, to keep the engagement, keep the morale up, and keep the motivation up when one of their favorite colleagues has just resigned. So in video 4, I gave you the entire blueprint, and it's there for you to use. And I've got no doubt you can take that entire blueprint and run with that. And you can do everything you need to do as a savvy business owner, as someone who manages people in the business you work for, to build that winning team. But in video 4, I also offered you an alternative. And that was that perhaps you'd rather not go that journey alone. Perhaps you'd rather have a quicker way to do things. Perhaps you'd rather have support in following that process to make sure you're protected and to be able to ask the questions that you're not sure of. Perhaps you'd rather cut a check to go faster, to have a way to get there quicker and faster and better than if you try and figure it all out yourself. Because, hey, we've all been there, haven't we? Where we know we could learn something ourselves, and so perhaps for a while we try, and perhaps we get beat our head against a brick wall a little bit. And I know I've been there with various parts of my business where I thought, oh, I can figure this out. And to an extent, I absolutely have. And if I kept at it for long enough, I definitely could have. But at some point, it becomes easier and a more attractive option to invest in some support. And you get there quicker, faster, and better every time. And I offered you the opportunity in video 4 to join us within your People-Powered Business, which is our membership community for businesses who employ staff but who aren't large enough to have an internal HR manager. So this is if you've got less than 50 or 100 staff, you may want some support when it comes to building and managing your people and your team, with being compliant, with knowing what to do when, and knowing how to get the most out of people. And that's what we offer inside your People-Powered Business. It really is a place to gain the knowledge, tools, and resources to tackle absolutely anything when it comes to your team with complete confidence. I know it can often feel overwhelming and you can be uncertain about whether you're doing the right things or what you need to look for. And our job within your People-Powered Business is to remove the overwhelm, to have you certain and confident when it comes to making decisions around your team. Because indecision is your enemy when it comes to anything in your business, right? But certainly around your people. Inside the membership, we have a whole range of resources for you. So I want to run through those so you understand what's inside. And I've got some questions that have already been submitted that I'd love to answer for you as well. Inside your People-Powered Business, we have the People-Powered Community. I want to mention that first up because my members tell me this is their favourite part of the membership. And I have to hand on heart be honest, when I first started a HR membership, and one of the questions I have to answer is what on earth is a HR membership? So I'm going to come to that. When I first started this, I thought that the community aspect would be something that people weren't really into. I thought people wouldn't be keen to chat in a Facebook group. I thought they might be reluctant to ask questions or to give their experiences. And I could not have been more wrong. And I love that I was wrong. My members have told me that is their favourite part of the membership. That's why I wanted to mention it first. They love the fact that at any time they don't have to wait for an answer. They don't have to trawl the internet. They jump straight into the Facebook group and they say, hey, I've got this problem, or I have a question, or am I right in what I'm thinking here? And I'm in there. I'm answering straight away. You get direct advice from me in that group. It's not, some random. It's not a call center. It's not a chat bot. It's me. And my team are also in there answering questions that you might have, and they're all experts in what they're answering on. So we're available and we're in there and we're straight in there answering the questions. Even better though, what I love These other members are answering questions. They're saying, yep, I've looked that up before, or I've checked on that before, or I know because I just dealt with it, or we tried this and we found it worked really well. And that's great because that's first-hand experience that those other members can take. So we have our people-powered community, a closed members-only Facebook group, which is where all the action happens, if I'm honest. So that's why it's everyone's favourite part. We have monthly training sessions run by me where I walk you through the complexities of building and managing your winning team. Now, depending on, we always have a monthly topic and it's always part of this People Pathway. So depending on what we're talking about that month will depend on exactly what we cover. For example, in March, our topic was protection. We're in the protection zone of the People Pathway. And our training session was on the core policies and processes you need to have to protect your business. So I walked you through some of the core policies and then spoke about also the other policies that I see used most often. The leave policy I spoke about earlier was absolutely one I spoke about in that training. And that training is done live on Zoom. You can join in live, or if the time doesn't suit or you can't make the time, it's always recorded and saved in the resources library. You can watch it whenever you want to, whenever you need to, as many times as you like. And that leads me to the resource library. This is the place to go for documents, templates, tools, guides, checklists, recordings of previous sessions. That's the hub. That's where everything is. Now, this resource library is ever evolving. We are adding things all the time and giving you whatever you need as a member. So if at any point you've joined as a member and there's something that you want or need and it's not there, if it's to do with your team and your people, we will get it in there for you. In fact, just a few weeks ago, one of our members, Lauren, was about to do some performance reviews with one of her team members. And she came into the Facebook group and said, hey, is there some video training on how to conduct a performance review? And there wasn't. We had some templates and some guides, but we didn't have some video training. So we created it for her. It was in the portal within, I think it was 24, might have been 48 hours tops. And she was able to then go and watch that when she needed to, which was the next week because she was doing the review the next week, and implement that review. So if it's not there, we make it happen, but it is ever evolving. We're adding things in all the time. We also, as I've already mentioned, have our regular Q&A sessions. One of my philosophies with this membership is that every question will get answered. I'm constantly being asked, oh, what about this? What about that? You know, in the outside world. So I wanted to create a forum where all these questions could get answered. There is no question too silly, no question too complex. You ask it, it'll get answered, either in the Facebook group or in the Q&A session, and often in both. The Q&A sessions they're live as well on Zoom. So they're an opportunity for more sort of interaction in terms of the question. Like this morning, when we had our Q&A session, our member Janice was on live and she was able to just come off mute, and her and I had a chat to talk through a particular challenge in her business. So they're a great opportunity if you want to join live, if it's not just a yes, you know, if it's not a direct question, you know there's going to be follow-up, perfect opportunity. And we work through it right then and there. It's like having a HR consult, basically. And if you pay a HR consultant now, you'll know what cost is usually involved in that. And again, everything's recorded and in the portal. So you miss a Q&A session, you're not able to make it live, but you want a question answered, let us know, and then you just go into the portal. Just last month that happened, in fact. Michael asked a question. He knew he couldn't make it live, but asked me to answer it in the session anyway. And then he went back and caught the replay, got the answer he needed to move forward with one of his team members. So that's all there for you. And of course, technical updates as they happen. If you've ever tried to keep up to date with the changes that go on with the Fair Work Act, you'll know that it's a minefield. They're updating the awards, they're updating the Act, they're changing everything with all the COVID restrictions and the COVID flexibility provisions. It's changing all the time. You don't have to worry about that if you're in the membership, because we give you real-time updates. We're keeping an eye on it. That's our job. So we will let you know. Just like last week when the Fair Work Act changed, with the casual definition changing and all the conversion rules changing, we were straight in there with the membership saying, hey guys, there's been a change. This is what's happened. We're going to let you know exactly what that means. And we in fact covered that again in more detail in today's Q&A session. So you're getting all of that inside the membership. Plus, if you join us in March, you've got a few bonuses as well. You can have access to our quarterly masterclasses, and these are expert presenters. This isn't me or one of my team, it's an expert. We've had a leadership expert, Juliet Robinson, present to us on personalities and leadership styles, and that was so insightful. We learned so much about not only our leadership personalities, but how to deal with different personalities in our teams. And I'm a real nerd for that stuff, so I loved that session. In fact, our next quarterly mastermind is with a workplace health and safety expert, because no matter what type of business you have requirements and obligations under workplace health and safety law. So she's going to share some real golden advice with us in that next quarterly masterclass. Also, as an extra bonus, if you join us in March, is our HR SOS calls. Now, everyone that joins us in March gets access to 3 of these a year. And these are basically, you book a call directly with me, one-on-one, and we get you unstuck. It can be on absolutely anything. It could be that something's really happened and, the proverbials hit the fan and you need an urgent problem fixed. No worries, we jump on the call, Zoom or phone, whatever works for you, we get it sorted. We've had SOS calls used for, getting advice on how to terminate someone within probation, for example. We've had SOS calls used on how to have a difficult conversation with a team member. Always a tricky one. We've had someone use an SOS call to plan out what to do about a maternity leave that was coming up and how they could resource everything properly throughout that period. They're there to use for whatever you need. You get 3 of them. They're half-hour calls. If you've got a HR consultant now, you know the cost of that. It's around $300 an hour to get advice one-on-one from a HR consultant. 3 of these are included in your membership. Now, you probably don't even need 3 a year sometimes because you're already so up to date and ahead within the membership, but it happens, so they're there for you to use. And as an extra bonus as well, when you join us in March, you'll get full access to our course, which is called Hire Right, which gives you the exact detailed framework for hiring the right person the first time. It's a 3-part course, very detailed. It's got lots of great resources in there for you. So you get all of that when you join us in March. So it's a fantastic offer, and I truly believe in it, or I wouldn't be here sharing it with you. There's in fact nothing exactly like it in the marketplace for me to try and compare it to, but it is your one-stop shop for everything to do with human resources and the team that you have within your business. It's about having live advice, being able to access an expert whenever you need it, being able to be part of a community who are also building businesses, managing teams, experiencing all the same challenges, and being able to be connected with them, and to save you time from trawling through internet sites, trying to find templates and resources and really not sure whether you've got it right. All of that overwhelm is removed inside your People Power business. As I said, I've had a few questions submitted, so I'd love to answer them for you. If you are joining us live, you can definitely also post a question underneath. Or if you're catching the replay and you think, oh, I've got another question, just let me know. Happy to answer it for you. So the first question, as I alluded to earlier, is what is your People Powered business and what is a HR membership? Think about it like Netflix or your insurance policy or your HelloFresh deliveries. Think about it like any of those subscription services or your insurance policy. You pay a low, affordable fee every month to have access to everything. You pay your insurance because if you have an accident in your car, you want to know you're covered. Same deal. You pay your Netflix subscription so you know if there's something or you want to spend some time watching TV, you'll have access to a range of shows. You pay your HelloFresh delivery so that a box of healthy food turns up for you to cook. Same deal. You pay a low monthly subscription to get access to everything I just told you about and to have the assurance that you're compliant and you're getting it right when it comes to the legislation, because we've got you covered from that perspective. So think about it like an affordable subscription or insurance policy that's there for you when you need it. Now, I'm also being asked, who is this right for? Your People Powered business is for businesses, whether it's a business owner or it could be the general manager, operations manager, office manager. It's for businesses who don't have an internal HR manager, but who do have a team. Usually our members have between 5 and 50 employees. But if you're a business that has, 75 employees and you still don't have an internal HR manager, then this is absolutely for you. And conversely, if you've only got 2 staff, but you're growing or you want that support and that certainty around you, then of course this is for you as well. So if you are a business that has no internal HR manager and you have a team of people, then your People Powered business is for you. And I do want to mention as well, it is a business membership. And what that means is that if you join and you're the office manager, but we're doing some training on something that you think someone else in the business would actually benefit from, that's totally fine. We can have more of you on there. That's no problems. In fact, many of our members do that. So we've got one business where the owner is the core member, but her general manager attends heaps of the training because she's the one doing the face-to-face with the team a lot of the time. We've got another member who she's the office manager basically, or operations manager, but the director or the owner of the business might sometimes jump into the membership if it's more strategic and more around her side of things. So you join as a member, but other members of your team can absolutely access everything. At the same time, they can join the Zoom calls or they can log into the portal and get access to whatever you need them to as well. I've already told you about all the inclusions, so I don't need to go through those, but that was another question that I had. I'm also getting asked what types of businesses are in the membership, which is a really interesting question because we've got such a diverse range of businesses. We've got trades-based businesses, we've got IT specialists, we've got allied health professionals, we've got product-based businesses, we've got service-based businesses, we've got online businesses, bricks and mortar businesses, totally diverse. So this membership is for all industries. My expertise is within the world of HR, the Fair Work Act, the Modern Awards, not a particular industry. So we've got a whole range of industries and a whole different group of people inside the membership. I'm also getting asked some questions about how long do I have to stay a member for? And the short answer is you can cancel any time. If you join on the monthly basis and 1, 2, 3, 6 months down the track, you think actually this is not for me anymore, no problems. You just cancel any time. There's no ongoing commitment. There's no lock-in contracts. There's no you're going to be tied in for 3 or 5 years. If you join on the monthly basis, you can cancel any time. And we've got a special discount if you join annually as well. Again, you can cancel that any time before your next renewal point. So no lock-in contracts, no ongoing commitment. It's there as you need it. On the commitment side too, one of the other questions I had yesterday was, how much time do I have to spend inside the membership, to get value? Because I've seen some other memberships where they say you've got to spend at least 3 hours a week, and I just don't have that time. Quite frankly, who does? I don't have that much time to spend in someone else's membership either. It's there as and when you need it. There's no requirement to spend any length of time in order to get value from this membership. I know when it comes to having a team that some weeks you don't need any support and you don't need to be spending any time worrying about it, and other weeks you need all the support. It can't be predicted. It can't be planned. We wish it could. So there's no minimum time commitment. Some of our members tell me that they're reading all the comments in the Facebook group, but I don't see them commenting, or they tell me they're accessing things from the portal, but they aren't there live because it doesn't suit their timeframes. So it's there for you to use as and when you need it. There's no time commitments. Of course, one of the key questions I'm getting is, why should I join? Great question. Well, just like you get an accountant to deal with your taxation, you get an insurance policy to give you insurance, you get a mechanic to fix your car. If you've got a team of people, you need to be compliant with the Fair Work legislation. You want to build a team that's highly engaged and motivated. And unless you're a HR expert, you're probably going to want some support with that. So if you want to make sure you're doing the right things, you want to have a team that's highly motivated and engaged and gives you those business results that we've been speaking about, 20% increase in profitability by having an engaged team, avoiding the problems that come with having issues with Fair Work, unfair dismissal claims, fines and penalties for breaches. They can be up to $6,000 each. If you want to avoid all of that, you should be joining Your People-Powered Business. If you want to make sure you're compliant with the HR laws, you should be joining Your People-Powered Business. Because just like you get an accountant to ensure you're compliant with tax law, HR law is just a whole other piece of legislation, and it's something you should get support with. You should get support through Your People-Powered Business if you are a business owner who wants to have success in your business and also wants to have the freedom that you seek, because we can help you get there faster. So I think there's lots of reasons that you should join, but they're the main ones. So there's some of the questions that I've had, but I am more than happy to answer any other questions. So if you're catching the replay or watching live, let me know, and I'm super happy to answer any questions you have. Now, if Your People-Powered Business sounds like something you're interested in, our doors are open right now, but only until the 30th of March. Why only until the 30th of March? Well, here's the thing. We don't open all year round. We only open a couple of times a year. And the reason for that is when we invite new members in and we get a group of new members in, I spend the time after that really working closely to get to know those new members, making sure that they're across everything within the membership. I get to know a little bit about their business so I can better serve them within the membership. And I'm working really closely with both those new members and our existing members. So we only invite new members in a couple of times a year, and this is one of those times. So you've got until midnight on the 30th of March to join us. If you have a team, you don't have an internal HR manager, I should say, and you want to remove the overwhelm and become more confident and certain when it comes to making decisions around your team, being compliant with the legislation, and to building teams that boost your business performance and give you all the results you desire, then I would love for you to join us inside your People-Powered business. As I said, any questions, I'm here to answer them, and I really hope to welcome you inside the membership in the next week.